people are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Do not come. Do not come. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat, our Sunday night shit show.
Shit show.
The shit show. I all of a sudden panicked when it started playing. So I was like, wait, did I put up Wednesday by accident? Nope.
I think that every show, I'm like, is this the right day? Is this the right intro?
Yeah. Crazy.
Where
Crazy
am
town.
I?
My brain not functioning on all cylinders. How are you? Welcome.
I am good. I had a good game night last night. You know, most Saturdays we host a game night. I host a game night virtual.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I drank all my good beers, so I'm drinking normie beers that aren't even microbrews.
What?
So
I like the
if I have to,
of it, though.
if I have to make fridge runs more often, it's because these little adorable cans that are
they're very teeny,
normal sized.
I come prepared with a full bottle of wine.
Nice.
So
I should just suck it up and go mini fridge.
Yes, in your
that's
socialist apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mini fridge, that's an extra level of fun. That's when you know you made it.
It's a frat bro.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Happy Sunday, February 22nd. We are not covering Mexico tonight, but holy shit. People are being taken hostage along the coastline from the Puerto Vallarta, all-inclusive resorts after Mexican military killed one of their head drug cartel bosses. So it's pretty insane. It looks really terrifying, actually. And is this all just for us to now invade Mexico?
Yeah, who knows? It's really like we've pretended the whole border at Mexico is the problem with everything wrong in the world, but it's not. They got their own problems, obviously.
Obviously, yes. But I do wonder, because they've been saying that they were going to ship oil to Cuba, defying Trump. And now I wonder if this is just some pretext for Rubio to, invade every country
good point.
South of the border.
That is a very good point. And believe me, they need that oil. I mean, I hate to push oil, but like that, the world doesn't run without oil at this point in time.
Well, and they're not allowed to have.
They have no cars.
Else.
They have no. They're down to bikes. They can't get food from the countryside to the people in the cities. Their own government is telling them to start making food. Growing your own food.
I'm not going to get sad at the top of the show, but geez, it's really amazing to see how we can just decimate one country after another. It's just
there is more sad breaking news. Someone went into Mar-a-Lago, presumably to kill the president, and didn't.
And was unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
That's sad news.
Sorry to report.
But what happened?
This was a couple hours ago. He went in there. They're not sure why, but apparently he stopped on his trip over there and bought a shotgun because he had the new box in his car.
Wow.
And he had a container of gasoline and a shotgun. All I've heard on the story is that the cops, this high security area in Mar-a-Lago that he got into, they told him to drop everything. He dropped the gasoline, raised the shotgun, and then got killed. So it could be one of these, death by cop choice moves, or we just don't know. But.
Yeah, it just feels like we never find out the truth behind any event anymore, because they're getting rid of all the journalists, and the journalists who do exist are Tucker Carlson. Oh my God, we will be getting into it. First, though, let's just please remember everyone to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. We really are so appreciative of all your support. Truly, we see how it's changing in the algorithm, and we are slowly climbing up, which is, exciting for us. And it's thanks to all of you. So thank you.
Yeah. So absolutely. If you can hit the like on the actual video we're showing now, if you're on YouTube, that's what helps us a lot. So much appreciated.
Exactly. And we're going to just, let everybody know what's on the show. I don't know if this is the way we're going to do it, but we're realizing like we kind of bob and weave so much. It'd be nice to just have some idea of what's coming next. So we'll try to be better about that. We got lots of to-do items.
Probably still bob and weave and probably not get to any of that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be a whole different thing. Okay, so our cheers today is a gentleman in Minneapolis who has a small shop, and how he reaches out to the community who is still under massive attack by ICE agents and CBP officers.
Yesterday, a little boy walked in here. He's 6 years old. He's a Latino. He came with no shoes, and he gave me $3 in quarters. And he said, my mom said she wants vegetables with this money. It was $3.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay,
Yeah.
which vegetables? She said, plantain.
Yeah.
And whatever you can give me for that. I say, okay. Honestly, I went there and I took the boy. I said, whatever you need. And I filled up almost $100 worth of stuff. I said, that's $3 was enough for all that. I gave it to him.
That's $3.
Because
Yeah.
I know he needs it.
So he came with $3 in quarters, and you
Yes.
said, here's $3 worth of food.
Yes, yes.
And it was $100 worth of food.
Yes.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Omar.
Amar. And where are we right now?
Amigos One Stop.
So who shops here?
Mostly Latinos.
In New York, I think they would call this a bodega. What do you call this?
Some people can call it bodega here, but a lot of people call it tienda.
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 Can I ask where you're originally from?
I'm from Palestine, but I grew up in South America.
Oh, you're complicated.
Yes.
So Palestinian.
That's what I learned Spanish and Portuguese in South America.
So you speak Spanish, Portuguese,
Arabic and English.
Arabic and English.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
So you're ready for anybody to come through
That's
here.
true.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Your friend Dylan across the street tells me that you all are doing the right things right now with the community, considering everything going on with ICE.
Oh yeah, we are doing what we can. We're trying to deliver a lot of the groceries to the customers because people are calling us from everywhere. They want not only the neighborhood here, even from Crystal, Richfield, San Luis Park, Edina, St. Paul, everywhere they calling us.
So outside of Minneapolis.
Yes, and we are delivering for them food. And we are not charging them for transportation.
Oh wow.
And a lot of times, like even if they cannot pay, we'll try to see what we can do to also
So even if they will call you, say, I need groceries. I'm worried about leaving my house because of ICE, and you will deliver them groceries, not charge them a delivery fee.
Yes.
And sometimes you will just give them the groceries for free.
Yes. And I don't know for the long run what effect it's gonna have. Even if ICE leaves today,
Yeah.
I don't know.
How it changes everybody.
I don't know honestly, because for those people to start coming back to the area, how comfortable they're gonna be, I'm not sure.
So this could be a long-term effect. We don't know
think so.
yet. We don't know yet.
I think so, probably.
Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for your store. Thank you for serving the community.
No, thank
stay
you.
warm and stay
Thank
safe,
you.
sir.
Thank
Please,
you very much. Thank you.
And
Thank
also, I have to say, free Palestine.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Free Palestine.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you for doing
Thank you,
this.
guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. If you guys want to drink something, you guys can drink something, okay?
Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate
You guys
that.
can have something to drink.
Oh, no, we're paying. We're paying.
No. You can drink something. No. Don't worry.
Cheers to him. I love that. It's so beautiful. That's just so beautiful.
It really is. And, it just shows like it takes a Palestinian to be kind. I mean, this is like, we're better as a country than this. And a lot of people are stepping up, but it's just, I love the stories of the people that are buying out the former food truck people.
Yep.
Just in the morning early, just buying
right.
everything.
Yep.
So they can feed their families.
That's
more of that.
That's what exactly. It is always amazing to me though. It's like when I was waiting tables for almost a decade and you got a sense of who was going to tip really well and who wasn't. And there is quite a bit of class solidarity amongst the working class that is really, really touches my heart. That is where I will leave it. I was waiting tables in Beverly Hills and Brentwood. So yes. Okay.
No, it's true. And I used to, this is sort of capitalist, but I was a blackjack dealer. But
It's all
you know, you
counts.
really see like but you see like the poor people tip a higher percentage of their earnings of their winnings than
Yep.
rich people do all day.
All day.
All day.
And they're so, I mean, I know we're speaking in huge generalizations. So obviously there are, you know, some good people of all kinds, yada, yada. But there is something about people who don't have a lot who seem so willing to share what little they have. And the people at, you know, the top of the food chain who will never have enough. Like, so
Hoarding too, you know, they hoard every
they
time there's a
hoard it. Yeah, they'll
disaster,
never
they buy out all the things that the public
Yeah.
needs.
Their happiness actually relies on the suffering of other people, even if they could prevent it. It's disgusting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so let's get to a little palate cleanser over here. Spin that wheel. Oh, and cheers to W. Kamau Bell also for highlighting that gentleman, and cheers to Omar and his bodega and his big heart. Okay, that's.
And sometimes Kamau is amazing. Sometimes he's not. But
Yeah.
very often he's trying to tell the stories that aren't getting heard. So I
Yes.
appreciate that part.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, baby.
There we go. Can we have a laugh? A little bit of a laugh.
Let's what do you think? The crowd work or what do you want?
Okay, let me just see because we
You pick,
have
you pick.
Sure. Let's
Any of them.
you know what? Let's do the Josh Jackson and the Epstein, you know, and just a reminder, there were all of the, you know, Epstein who said, I'm not in the files, not in the files. And then there's all these letters, emails of him begging to come for the best party ever, only on the most fun nights.
I love watching your TikTok, which is
Thank
next
you.
level. Clearly, that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Remember when Elon got into it with Trump, and then he was like, Trump, the big bomb that Trump is in the Epstein files, that's why I haven't come out yet. And, you know, he tried to do that mic drop. And then, how stupid do you have to be? You didn't just throw stones while you lived in a glass house. You seem to have thrown the stone through your glass floor. This dude emailed Jeffrey Epstein and was over here. Hey, I'm looking to spend some time, have a vacation. It'd be great to hang out at the island with you. Like, you want to hang out at the island? I'd love to come to the island with you. And the girls, there'll be girls there. So let's go to the, I want to hang out at your island with you. And we'll do whatever stuff. I mean, I want to go crazy too. So whatever stuff you do, that's what I want to do. I want to do all the stuff that you do with the girls at your island. I want to be with you at your island doing stuff and whatever stuff you have in mind, like crazy stuff. Let's lose our minds. Let's go crazy together at your island. I'm surprised that Jeffrey Epstein did not think Elon Musk was the police. The way that this man was emailing so thirsty. This is the most narc email I've ever seen in my life. This man, oh no, with you and the girls, you know, because there'll be girls there, right? It's like, I've never seen somebody send an email like they were wearing a wire.
I have
Spot
to
on.
say, until I saw that last week, all I was thinking was, God, everybody hates Elon. They didn't want him at any parties or anything. And then watching that, I was like, what if he was actually trying to bring them down? Like he's some fed, the narc email. That just cracked me up.
Don't plant the opportunity. There's just no way. He's just such a dirtbag.
Yeah.
The arrogance of thinking this wasn't going to come out, knowing you'd sent those emails. This fucking dirtbag.
I know, but doesn't that make you wonder? Look, he works with the government. Every single huge
No.
contract. No. Oh, which would actually go against everything. I don't know. Anyway, he's an asshole, whatever he does.
Yeah, he's not a narc. He's probably planting that conspiracy theory. He probably is happy this is out there because you know, it's sort of it's the
They
only
got
way he
me.
can be exonerated from his lie, right?
Yep,
I mean,
yep. They got me. I guess so. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what to believe on any. I've gone down so many rabbit holes, so many conspiracy theories. They've all turned out to be true, except Mikey didn't die from eating Pop Rocks, and what's his name? Rob Lowe didn't have AIDS. But every other one totally is true. Every other conspiracy and rumor.
Yeah, we got to revisit Pizzagate. Let's do it.
I think it's worse. No. And I did not say that we didn't land on the moon. I just said, isn't it interesting that we've never gone back? And then today, like my phone was reading my mind.
Lila, I'm going to have to fly to LA and get you. Come on.
Remember when Buzz Aldrin punched that guy who was like, I don't really know if you landed on the moon. Yeah. But all I'm saying is, and now they are planning to go back to the moon. So somebody was listening to me. Anyway. Okay. Let's Gwen, is Finland real? I am not a flat earther. I swear that I believe. And I'll tell you, when I was telling my kids, like, because they've loved Kyrie Irving for a long time. And I was saying like how great it was. And he spoke up for Palestine and all this stuff. And they're like, he's a flat earther, right? And I had not known that. So I'm not a flat earther. Yeah. I believe in science. Like I need proof. I believe in rigorous facts.
It's true. I mean, Kyrie is also, he leans into the anti-Semitism a little bit too.
Really? Yeah. I don't know enough. Yeah.
But yeah,
he is not alone. And that's a great segue to this. Oh my gosh, you guys, I listened to the full almost 3-hour interview between from Tucker Carlson and Mike Huckabee. And Tucker Carlson might be the most off-putting journalist interviewer I have ever had to listen to. He cackles, he's smug, he's smarmy, he doesn't have facts. He's just like 100%. It's awful. It's awful. And
at the same time, he's still the only one challenging these fucks to their face in all of media.
Which, yeah, I mean, it is so disheartening, right? So it starts off, and we don't have this clip, but he introduces his whole interview by saying that he and his family had been threatened by Netanyahu and the Israeli government several times. He wanted to do this interview. He was really sad about the friction that he's having between himself and Israel, the state of Israel now, because he's, been to Israel, I don't know how many, 50 times or something. Meanwhile, Huckabee says he's been to Israel 100 times. Like, that's a lot of travel to any one foreign country. But okay, anyway, he says that they ended up conducting the interview at the airport. He is an American citizen conducting an interview with another American citizen who is the US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. When they are done with the interview, he says they were heading back towards the plane, and he and his two producers were taken aside. His two producers were detained, brought into another room. All of their phones, their notes, everything was gone through and was looked through. He was allowed to leave, and the Israeli, TSA version of the people, or I don't know if it was Israeli police, said, why don't you guys go get on your plane and you can just wait for your producer? And he's like, no, there's no way I'm leaving my producer behind. He keeps talking. They tell him again, we're almost done. Why don't you just go on the plane? He was like, no way I'm leaving my producer behind. He's like, and then a little bit later, I'm on the plane. And I was like, well, he never actually told us. Like, I really do wonder, because he does not strike me as the most courageous man. If he did leave his producer behind, I have no idea. But anyway, gets on the plane. Obviously, he's back in the US now and is releasing this. I think that probably, several of the clips have gone viral. But the one.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say it's so. Huckabee and Israel look so bad in this debate from just the clips. I haven't watched the whole thing. I watch CNN and NPR, so you don't have to. I cannot watch a Huckabee interview, so you don't have to. But yeah, he really, it's just so bad that I wonder if they almost like uploaded it to the cloud immediately, and they wanted to get the footage because they know it went so badly, but they couldn't get the footage because their producers were wise enough to get it off their
I think
tablets
that's
and whatnot.
I think that's probably true. I think that's probably true. They must have uploaded it right away, and Huckabee comes off terribly. But the truth is, and we've got, you know, a few different clips, but every time Tucker sort of makes a point or tries to make a point or challenges Huckabee, he either doesn't have tangible facts to throw back at him, or he half agrees with him and then does his hyena cackle giggle thing, or it's a way of just denigrating anybody who isn't Christian. I don't know. Like it's never satisfying in the way you want it to be, because Tucker is coming at Israel from a very different approach than I think most of us on the left are. So
Right. Like the biblical stuff threw me. I was like, what is this Bible shit, you know, about DNA heritage? And
that part,
I get the argument he was making, but
it was crazy. Well, that's okay. So this clip is what led to, I think, 57 countries and organizations putting out a letter of condemnation of US Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. But here is Huckabee talking about the Greater Israel Project.
You've appealed to Genesis. Genesis 15 says it's Abram, it's pre-Abraham, it's Abram, receives from God the news that his descendants will inherit the land. And you tell me as the theologian if I'm getting this wrong, but from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right. And that would include like basically the entire Middle East. That would be the Levant. So that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It would be,
I'm not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
It would be a lot of places that are now countries.
But this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. Mm-hmm. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis.
Yeah.
You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
Okay. That last statement is obviously insane. It's why this letter was put out. So let's see. This is in a joint statement. The following countries, along with several regional and intergovernmental organizations, formally condemned his remarks. And it's Jordan, the UAE, Indonesia, Pakistan, Bahrain, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Oman, Palestine, Qatar, Kuwait, Lebanon, Egypt, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, League of Arab States, Gulf Cooperation Council. I mean, like, obviously, that's a hideous statement. The thing that was really interesting to me, first of all, I don't care what the Bible says about anything. I also don't care what your DNA says about anything. Like, who cares? And I don't care what your religion says about anything and whether you've converted or you're a cultural Jew or you're an Orthodox Jew or what. None of it matters. You are stealing somebody's home, somebody's land. You are killing them, ethnically cleansing them. Like, I don't even understand what we're talking about. Who was living in that house when you came in and stole it and murdered its occupants?
Yeah, amen. And not only do I'm the opposite of not caring. I care a lot the other direction. And I want you to get your fucking religion out of being a state agent of our country.
Yeah.
Like, we are not going back to days of, like, you know, the Roman Empire wars based on we're not going to.
Yeah.
First off, our religion is not even their religion. I mean, you know, Christianity is not. Christianity and Zionism are actually opposed to each other. At the end of the day, it's just absurd. Yeah. I don't want, like, for him to be speaking this way. And these countries, they rightfully are like, you're calling on us to be eliminated, and Israel has a right to all this shit. How are you
an ambassador?
I just, it's amazing how far we've fallen.
I don't even understand and I think what he was trying to do in a very circuitous way was to catch him up. Like, so what about somebody who isn't born Jewish, but who converts? Does that person have a right to the land? What about devout Christians who are Zionists? Do they have a right? What about the people who and I mean, I think he was trying to make some sort of rhetorical point, like, I got you, like, there's no consensus. And does anybody else do that? Can you do that in the US? Can you do that in Egypt? Can you, like, how do other places treat it? But honestly, it's like having a discussion or an argument about anything that's based in belief and faith and not logic. None of that matters. It actually doesn't matter what your DNA is for you to come in and take over land. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. And especially the fact that you're matching it up to this fucking made up book. Sorry. They're all made up books. But if you don't think they're made up books, fine. I guess this argument works for you. But when you believe these books are the word of God, this is the problem. And even these books, especially the Christian Bible, Roman Catholic, I don't even know what you call the version of the Bible, but the church selected which passages were in. Some passages don't exist anymore that used to be in. There's the Dead Sea Scrolls that was part of it that is now not. And there's all this shit. It's just fabricated bullshit. Sorry, if you believe it, great. But I don't want our country believing it. I don't want our government acting in a way that represents beliefs like that, because then you do enable the reverse right of it, which is radical Islam, who should rightfully see you as the enemy when you're out there espousing taking over all of fucking Middle East, using your Bible as justification.
And of course they're going to be upset, you know, even though it is a colonial project, because this particular one has shrouded itself with a religion, then if you are the victim of the colonial project calling itself the Jewish project, you're going to say, get Jews off my land. Like, of course you are. So that's why Zionism is also anti-Semitic, obviously. But the, going to the Bible, going to the DNA. Now, I had heard for a long time that DNA testing is not allowed in Israel. I don't know. That was the other thing. Like, oh, what if we found out, like Tucker kept saying, like, Benjamin Netanyahu is from Poland. His family doesn't have any actual ancestral ties to Israel. But again, I don't care. Like, my family is originally from Russia, Odessa. Okay. Back or whatever, Soviet Union, whatever you want to say. It's gone through lots of changes. But like, if somebody came to my home right now and said, you don't have any ancestral, you don't belong here. First of all, Palestinians have been there all along, but also like that has nothing to do with our current legal processes of how we run a state. And for the only democracy in the Middle East, which I know we know is a big joke, like to even allow that to be part of what's put on the table is insane. But then also, I did just want to remind everybody that the woman who bought 23andMe, took it over, is a huge Zionist who is also connected to Jeffrey Epstein. We covered it, and now I can't remember her name. But like, that also makes me wonder, like, what does all of this mean? Like, all of the biogenetic testing and reconfiguring, like, what are they trying to do? And who cares what your DNA says? That does not justify any of this. Like, or the Bible, obviously, but like, none of this. So bizarre that they're having a 3-hour conversation, and that's part of a discussion about territorial boundaries in the Middle East.
Yeah, look,
it's just, I know. It just went on.
There's a rational argument on how do you come to terms with colonialism in a way that isn't just giving the land back to people who at some point in history was stolen? I don't know what the answer is, but there have been agreements that all along the way have been broken by Israel in fairness to these people. That's the bottom line to it. So even in their own, this is what Israel owns now, as of 40 years ago or whatever, they've just expanded it. They've broken every law that ever existed. So like to then throw in the Bible as a reason to have more land. And now we're seeing war with the eighth country on their list, Iran, coming up. Like every country that has land around them, they've wanted to go to war with, and we're getting it.
Okay. That takes us to the second clip, a little shorter, but you will see how unsatisfying the response is. But this is Huckabee. Sorry, their names are sort of similar, right? Because Tucker and Huckabee. But that Huckabee. Israel is actually in an 8-front war. First he says 7-front, then it becomes 8-front.
And how many is that?
That's 7.
That's 7. Okay. I'd give you an 8th one. You know the 8th one? The media. No, I would tell you there's an 8th front war. They fight.
How many journalists has Israel killed in Gaza?
I don't know.
Over 200. It seems like
now, are they real journalists? Because a lot of those people that were supposedly journalists were actually Hamas fighters that are documented Hamas fighters. So that's why I ask you, how many are actual journalists?
I don't know, but a lot of them were. I mean, they worked for big news organizations and they had press written on their chests.
Yes. Okay. Like that could have had a different response if you were a real journalist, and you could actually say, take away the first part of, I don't know how many were actually journalists, but no, they worked for Reuters. They worked for AP. They worked for, they worked for actual local outlets. They work for international outlets. And also, are we allowed to just kill people while they're doing journalism because you think that maybe they worked for Hamas also? But he doesn't come up with I don't know. He gets sort of stunned by the response to his rebuttal, and he doesn't have the next piece of fact to present. It was very unsatisfying.
Yeah, all of it, as much as there's a lot of gotcha moments with Huckabee, the longer format clips I saw, which is 10 minutes of this part, for example, and I watched 4 or 5 of those kind of 10-minute clips. Huckabee gets to get off the hook, like you said. He gets to sort of spin his, well, I don't know the number, I'll look into the number, or he takes those off ramps a lot. And if Tucker came prepared with the facts, he could point out, A, B, and C journalists killed, targeted, proof of this, proof of that, proof of the other. And you won't let him do that. But
yeah. So it's those moments were I wanted those things to be said, and he had to know what all the Hasbara is. Every single time any journalist is killed, every time they break the ceasefire, they say we got another Hamas terrorist. Well, that's who your ceasefire is with. I don't believe Hamas are terrorists, but that's who, those Hamas fighters are the people that you signed your ceasefire deal with. So that's not an excuse, right? And by the way, mostly they're just killing women and children. They've killed everybody anyway. They don't care who they're killing. They attach everybody to being Hamas. But even if it were a Hamas terrorist, that is who your ceasefire is with. You don't get to then just kill them randomly. That's the whole point, right? If we just started taking out IDF soldiers, that wouldn't be okay. All right.
No, and I mean the part where Huckabee gets into them being the most, the most respectful, targeted, the civilian deaths. If we have that clip,
that's the one we're going to stop and start because that's the longest one that we pulled. Yeah.
Well, I'll wait for that then.
No, but it's horrifying. All of it is horrifying, and you can tell. Another U.S. citizen was just killed last night in Israel in the West Bank. I think there have been 6 U.S. citizens killed in the last 2 years. And we don't hear anything about them. Not under Biden regime, not under Trump regime. Those are America first. Nothing. Okay, so this is let me just add this and stop it 1 second. Move the comments for a second. Okay. So yeah, this is him talking about the most moral army in the world.
That no other country, including ours, goes to in the middle of an urban war. And yet Israel ended up with fewer civilian deaths in an urban war than any urban war of record.
You said you didn't know how many civilian deaths there were. So how can you say that?
If you took Gaza's numbers, Hamas's numbers,
you said you don't know what the numbers are.
We don't.
You just told me that. Then how can you say it's a lower number?
But if you took the numbers that they reported, which is like 50,000, 25,000 of those were actual warriors. How many civilians? If you took all of their numbers,
range from 120 to 78. Those are the ones I just read. I don't know if that's real. I don't know either. I'm asking you.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, those numbers I've not heard, have not read. The numbers that I think are more reportable are somewhere in the 60,000 range.
Where do those come from?
From the Gaza Health Ministry,
but
which
you
is
said those
Hamas.
were invalid numbers.
I think they are. I don't think that they're accurate, but I'm saying
You're saying
assume
they're inaccurate, but they prove that Israel's doing a great job?
Let's assume that the most widespread numbers, the largest numbers that have been reported out of Gaza by Hamas,
yes,
let's assume they're true. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they are true, but assume they're true. Let's just take them at their word. Then you still have a lower number of civilians killed than in any urban warfare environment in modern history. Fact.
I got to cut it off there because this is just pissing me the fuck
Yeah.
off. It's probably 15 to 1, to be honest, but like even the real reports are like 7 or 8 to 1.
The IDF itself said 83% were civilians. The IDF said
makes
that.
it the most, it's the exact opposite of what he's saying. It is the ratio of civilians to combatants killed by this war are the most ever. And when you want to talk about kids targeted, this is by far the worst in history. Ratio wise, you want to talk about journalists, by far the most journalists in history targeted. So this is absolute trash, and Tucker letting him
just saying, I don't know,
bumping
I
a
don't
little
know.
on the edges
Yeah.
about it, but not actually fighting him on it is ridiculous.
There are like one statistic after another. The most disabled people, children with amputees, the most children, the most journalists. They flatten whole neighborhoods. All you would have to do is show him one picture after another of all of Gaza being flattened. They are bombing them more like the 2,000-pound bombs that they have been using on Gazans, even in tents sometimes on Palestinians, they are equating to Nagasaki. So like the fact that he didn't have any evidence. Hey, IDF says 83% are civilian deaths. 50% of Gaza were children under 18 at the beginning of this genocide. So like already, and Lancet a year and a half ago said that probably the deaths would be upwards of 300,000. There are still hundreds of thousands of people buried under the rubble. And Israel's going in there with bulldozers and clearing it all out and not allowing journalists in. So instead of everybody just being like, I don't know the numbers. What kind of journalism is that? You fly to Israel for that? For your interview?
Yeah, and here's our Mr. Religious Huckabee. This is the part where the religion just really chaps me extra. It's like you're using the religion to shield yourself from any curiosity about this stuff. Like you're not even going to be
like it's right there. It's a couple miles away.
Because it's in the Bible, these people got to go. It doesn't really matter how it gets there. And Tucker does pin him down on the, the horrors of the kids involved. I saw some of that a little bit.
I can't remember if it's in this or not. But even that, it's just not at the level of satisfaction that you want when finally somebody is being asked these questions.
Is that a fact?
Yes.
What are you comparing it to?
To any urban warfare.
Name one.
Iraq.
Where in
Afghanistan?
Iraq? Where in Iraq? Where in Afghanistan? There aren't many urban areas in Afghanistan. I don't think there was any fighting in urban areas in Afghanistan.
Kabul?
I don't know. Were there pitched battles in Kabul over long periods of time? I don't.
20 years
in Kabul? I don't.
Throughout all of Afghanistan.
But what were those rates?
You're talking about what are the rates there? The number of people who were killed into the tens of thousands. I'm asking you to.
I don't know the answer. I've never heard of any of this. You brought it up. You said the IDF has killed a lower proportion of civilians in urban warfare than in any urban conflict in modern history. I'd never heard that before. I don't know what are the controls for that. And you said, well, the U.S. military killed more civilians.
Would you agree that the real tragedy was that Hamas continued to force this war?
Hold on. You just once again said that the IDF is more humane than the United States military. You just said that. You said in Iraq and Afghanistan, the U.S. military killed more civilians than the IDF did in Gaza. You just told me that. I never heard that before. And my question is, how do you know that? What are those numbers?
And I'm trying to explain to you that there were extraordinary efforts to keep
the number. You don't know the numbers, do you?
I think they were tens of thousands. I'll get them for you.
Well, you brought it up. That's the only reason I'm pushing you.
But I'm wearing a flag. I've worked for a country, and you pretended or alleged that somehow I'm not loyal to this and that I'm criticizing my own country, and I'm not.
They did a better job than the U.S. military in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I said, what are the numbers? And you said, I don't know. So on what basis are you making the claim that the IDF in Gaza spared more civilians than the U.S. Army and Marine Corps did in Afghanistan and Iraq? Why are you saying that? Like, on what basis are you saying that?
From the conversations that I've had with the people who fought there. And I don't have the exact numbers for you.
Okay. So again, like totally unsatisfying because Tucker should be coming up with actual facts to throw back at him. And he's more upset that anybody would say that
insulting our army
is better than U.S. military. Exactly. And listen, I mean, the numbers that I always hear is that we killed almost 1 million people in Iraq. So I have no love for U.S. military. I think we are also disgusting. I think we use a lot of the exact same tactics. To me, it's not like I don't need the U.S. military to be praised, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
But the issue of the combatant to civilian ratio is the core issue with the conflict in the Middle East. I mean, it really is. It's like, if you really wanted to go after Hamas and do targeted things, look, Hamas has every right, in my respect, to defend themselves and Palestinians. But if you wanted to make the moral argument of your war with them, this number is the most important thing because we're all seeing that you're full of shit about that number. So like, this is the one you can't let him get away from. It's so important and it's so clearly wrong. Like it proves our continued support. So even if you are an American that bought into our reason for backing Israel in this, if you're faced with the truth of how many kids we're killing over there in our name, like that would change your perspective on it. Even if you were a Zionist, it could change your perspective on it. And it's the most important number to me.
It's just, I mean, of course he's shameful, which is why I think, none of us normally watch Tucker Carlson. He's not somebody that I look to for his journalism on any level, but like, here is somebody who has a huge following actually going and asking questions that we've all been begging people to ask for the last 2.5 years. And it's so rare that the people who would ask the questions about the way Israel is conducting this genocide, about its occupation, about what was happening before October 7th, because that's not when history began. All of that you never see on mainstream news at all. So to have this opportunity and then not come, like he has a whole staff of people. We've provided more facts about this. There are 2 of us. Like he's got a whole staff of people. There is incredible documentation, actually, especially from Israeli media, sometimes because they're proud of the numbers, sometimes because there is some actual journalism, sometimes because they want to pin it all on, Likud, whatever it is. But like there are statistics.
And the truth is, if we had an interview with Huckabee, we would have them all on sheets in front of us. Like, I'm going to have the numbers. Like, I'm pulling stuff out of my ass every show, but that's not because I'm not interviewing.
Oh, no. I didn't. Was lagged. I didn't.
No, not like that. But the reality is, Huckabee is our representative who lives over in Israel and is around all these leaders every day. So all these people, Tucker could have pulled quotes from all these people. Do you really trust him? Because here's what he says to Israeli people, and here's the American narrative on it. Here's your friend over here. Here's the American narrative they're spinning.
Yep.
He could have just done that for 2 hours and really changed the world.
Yep. Absolutely. This is what the Times of Israel, like almost everything I have about, I have a ton of stuff, obviously, from Drop Site, Electric Intifada. I'm trying to think who else, who does that kind of journalism, some gray zone stuff. But I always find a corresponding article from Times of Israel. I know that they would say that Haaretz is too liberal, whatever. But like J-Post, Ynet, Times of Israel, like there is always something in Israeli media that backs up the very findings that Electric Intifada was reporting, like the first week of the genocide. They have documented all of it. So to not have that, then there's another part where Huckabee starts talking about Anthony Aguilar, friend of show, hero Anthony Aguilar, and how he lied, how they found that little boy. And we know that that's not true. They have not found that little boy. They found another boy they insisted was the boy, but that wasn't, according to his own family, that was not the same boy. Amir, I think his name is. They talked about, the same thing, like, oh, what other nation gives aid to its enemy? Like, that's not your enemy. Those are the people, I mean, they are, but like, those are the people you are occupying. That's not,
well, yes,
this isn't two states waging war.
But even if they are the enemy, this is where I always there are rules of engagement in an international war that provide that you must act in a way that is different than Israel is. You must provide food. You cannot do collective punishment. These are all literally law, international law. So it doesn't matter. I mean, at some point, whether even if you take their version of it, that these are all the enemies, you're still legally obligated to make sure civilians eat, have food.
You can't bomb hospitals.
So when they say what country does this, literally every other country fucking does it. Everyone but this country does it in war. Maybe not Russia, maybe not, in some engagement, but it's the villainous countries that don't.
I mean, truly, he had no rebuttal for any of that. It was like he hadn't anticipated the follow-up question for any of this interview. That, I mean, I don't know how long it takes wherever he lives to fly to Israel, but like even on the plane, you probably could have done a little more prep. Okay, this is this was sort of interesting, but see, again, listen, I think that you and I sometimes have like this minute difference. I don't think Israel makes us do anything. I think that the people who are in power, who want Israel there as our colonial outpost, allow things to happen, allow themselves to act like they're so annoyed because Israel's saying this, but it's what all of the most powerful people in the world want in the end. That is my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I would basically agree with you. I mean, I don't think that it's like our country is completely subservient to the puppet master Israel. I don't think that. I just think all those interests align.
Yes.
And Israel has gotten enough dirt on our government that if they have an interest, it's too risky to go against that interest.
Right.
For a lot of people.
Right. But how did they get that?
Epstein comes into play. Epstein came into play.
Right.
And then all the parties that might put some rational thoughts into this, well, they get rich if they go along.
Right.
So they're not going to buck the system and or get killed and or have their sex tape with their secretary released.
Yeah.
Or, you know, worse, most likely. That's the benign version. But like whatever dirt they have, Israel has collected all the dirt. Our own government, CIA and Mossad, both have the dirt on all of our own people.
Right.
And that's enough people in power to stop the opposition to a lot of these projects that make all these people rich.
Right. So that is, I mean, right. I think, you know, I think we all agree mostly on all of that. I guess what I'm trying to sort of poke at is, to me, it feels like Tucker's angle is more in that just noticing bubble of like, you know, we keep doing Israel's bidding. Do you notice how Israel makes us do this? Why is it Israel's the one who forces us to do? And that is, there were a few different moments where it felt like the idea that, you know, Israel controls the world and we're just doing, you know, this Jewish state's bidding, as opposed to Zionism and colonialism, which is a Western project. That is what I felt. But but I mean, I understand. I get
that, and I don't disagree with that either. You know, I understand. He's going to naturally lean into that anti-Jewishness versus anti-Zionism
and anti-Muslim. He's only talking about
he is
Christian
very
Palestinians.
He is he's always been a Christian kind of guy. He's like, I mean, him and Bill Maher would be pals in the real world. They should be.
Yeah.
They're like two versions of the same person.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. He's very, this is not about him truly defending Palestinians. He is upset that Palestinian Christians are being targeted as well, which is also horrible. But that seems to be the angle that he keeps wanting to come to, because the truth is, in the end, he wants our borders closed. He wants everything America first. And he's a white Christian nationalist. So like, that's where his project aligns very closely with some people who are anti-Zionist, but it's not because he is coming at it from an anti-colonialist. Everybody should have self-determination.
His project is to maintain the MAGA crowd, which leans into this right-wing, you know, Jews pulling the strings kind of thing.
Right.
That's a big part of it. He's trying to survive post-MAGA. He's independent now, so his check just depends on how many people he can get to watch his show.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And the more radical you are, the more viewers you get, no matter what it is. So he's got to lean this way. And that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So here he is talking about Israel harming our own US soldiers.
How many boots on the ground has the U.S. placed on behalf of Israel?
However many went to Iraq. We did that for Israel.
No, I don't think we did.
But you said we did it because of 9/11?
The U.S. government told us it was for 9/11.
But they knew they had nothing to do with 9/11, obviously.
Maybe
There's no
not.
evidence.
But I'm
so what was the actual
Israel
reason?
was not in that component.
That's not what the people who made the decision say. They say Israel.
Well, let me get back to the point.
Gave us that information about the fake weapons of mass destruction. Where do you think that came from? It came from Bibi.
How many Americans put their boots on the ground for Israel? The answer is zero.
Everybody who served in Iraq put their boots on the ground for Israel.
Did not.
Where did we get the information about the weapons of mass destruction that wasn't real?
We didn't get that from. You're saying we got that from Israel?
Well, absolutely.
You really believe that?
I know that for a fact. And so does every. Yes, this has been widely written about and discussed. And I'm not attacking Israel. Like, they thought it was in their interest. I'm mad at the Bush administration and all the people who went along with this to the detriment of my country.
He should be mad at Israel. Israel lied about it. Just be honest about it. Like, he's saying he's not mad at them because it's in their interest. Well, your interest got 1 million innocent people killed.
Right. But also,
Bibi did come and he pitched the yellow cake uranium bullshit.
He did. But also, there were plenty of people in the US and in Europe who knew that was not substantiated. We actually went after.
Right. And that's what Tucker's going for. The Americans who ignored it.
Right. But like, I guess the thing that I keep trying to articulate, and I know I am not doing this well, is that yes, Bibi says those things, and we have a 50-second montage of all the times that he says Israel that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. But that's also what Colin Powell and Rumsfeld and Cheney and what's his name, who was our president before, Biden, they were all attached to this idea because they wanted to go into Iraq before 9/11 that had nothing to do with Iraq anyway. So that was all a way of disrupting the Middle East, of payback to Saddam Hussein, who had been our friend. And I feel like the idea that this was just some spurious claim by Benjamin Netanyahu, that somehow that wasn't also part of the U.S. military industrial complexes project. Right. Also, that's the part that I take issue with. Netanyahu, Israel, the people in power there, they don't care about Americans. They don't even care about Israelis, honestly. But neither do the people in power in the U.S. because you don't send your own people off to war on a lie.
Well, and I think that segment right there with Tucker and Huckabee, where he's pointing that out, that he's not mad at Bibi for it because it fits in their country's national interests, shows where Tucker lands on it. He's like, this war is not in our national interest. It's not that he even cares about the people being killed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's saying from Bibi's perspective, kill 1 million people that are wrong because it's in their national interest, but this was not in ours. Is kind of
Good for him. You take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a compilation, and I don't know who put this together, but all the times that Bibi did say that they had weapons of mass destruction.
To conceal the efforts that he's making at producing weapons of mass destruction. We in Israel have known this for a long time. We've shared this intelligence with the United States, and I think that the United States has shared some of that today and of its own intelligence with the world. Israel reserves the natural right, I would say obligation of any government to protect its citizens, and we shall know how to protect ourselves.
Once Saddam has nuclear weapons, the terror network will have nuclear weapons. Next thing you'll see is a nuclear bomb in the World Trade Center. If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. I think the choice of Iraq is a good choice. It's the right choice. Yeah. Eliminating the nuclear threat.
So I know he said that, but
so right.
Yeah, he's been so right. And all the times he says Iran's about to have the nuclear capacity, nuclear bombs for the last 20 years. But do you remember when Joe Wilson wrote an op-ed in the New York Times about how there was no uranium or yellow cake that could be enriched to make weapons of mass destruction, and then Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld outed his undercover CIA wife, Valerie Plame. So we knew that was a lie also. Of course we did. Most of Europe did not want to go to war because there wasn't proof. The whole thing was just so maddening because it felt like there were better responses and they never came. And then if there was ever pushback, Tucker would sort of laugh like a hyena and be like, I'm a jerk. I know. It's not that I hate Israelis. And then that was the one line that Huckabee got in. He was like, I don't hate Israel. And Huckabee says, oh, you're doing a good job hiding it. It was like a 7-second clip. And that is what Israel cut and put out, congratulating their ambassador.
Well, I mean, I think he said it right in the beginning, the clip that you pulled, where the 8th war is against journalists. Yeah. So that's why immediately they're detained after the interview. I mean, and they're barely doing a journalism, but they're doing more journalism than most, and they're enemies.
I mean, when Biden held back on 2,000-pound bombs for a week, they called him Hamas. Like there is just even, you know, the special election that they just messed up with AIPAC in New Jersey, where they allowed Analilia Mejia to get through. It was because the guy they put so much money against had said we should make our weapons to Israel conditional, which is US law. It's the Patrick Leahy law, right? Like you cannot give weapons to people who are committing war crimes if they're preventing humanitarian aid, like a list of things that Israel has done that should prevent them from getting US weapons by our own laws. But he didn't even go, like, he didn't even say as much as I just said. It was, yeah, weapons should be conditional. That was enough for them to throw a few $1 million against him and allow Analilia Mejia to get in. So yeah, you cannot, there's no criticism is okay. None.
Absolutely. And when we get to the Democrats, we're going to have little bits on Israel and
100. Yeah.
later.
Okay. So this is the last clip that we pulled, and it's about going to war with Iran, which nobody wants. And it looks like it's happening this week. I mean, that's what so many different specialists are saying with the number of ships that we've, you know, all of our troops that we have amassed in the Middle East now, which is terrifying.
Well,
Are you muted?
I mean, the important part is Lindsey Graham wants it. If you want to talk about somebody who's probably deeply owned by Mossad and the CIA, I mean, if he's not gay, I don't know who is. So it really fits that they have a lot of dirt on him that could sink him with his own, you know, family and constituents.
True, but I mean, I think a lot of people have dirt on him. You know, there are a number.
I'm just saying.
I think it might be ideological.
Really
with him.
matches. No,
you don't think
ideological.
So?
He's not ideological. Look how quickly he pivoted to kissing Trump's ass.
But I think it's because he was getting what he wanted. I don't know. Maybe you're right, but yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, okay. So let's just, so they're talking about going to war with Iran and how unpopular that notion is in our country.
The question, like, how much does it matter what Americans think?
Well, it matters every bit what Americans think. That's why Americans vote. It's why Americans have the opportunity to have free speech. We want them to have that.
Okay. So what percentage of Americans support a war with Iran?
I don't know. Do you know?
I do. I think it's around, I saw the numbers yesterday. I think it was like 21%.
Okay.
Is that enough to have a war with Iran?
We don't live in a world where you have a poll taken to find out whether our policy should be a particular direction. Because
I thought you just said that
that's direct democracy. No, we care deeply about it. But on the other hand, do we make the decisions of foreign policy and even domestic policy based on
we
what
care
the
deeply
latest
about
poll
it? In
number
what
is?
sense? If we're ignoring it, then in what sense do we, quote, care deeply about it?
Well, I think we care deeply when we see there's a threat.
No, but about Americans' opinions. So you've got 350 million Americans. Yeah. They voted in this last election on the basis, in part, of the promise no more wars. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now we're about to have a war, looks like. 80% of people are against it. In that range, let's say 70%, but nowhere near majority support for this war. And it's not direct democracy, but it is a form of democracy. It's representative democracy.
The ultimate form of democracy in our system, in a republic, because we're not a true democracy, we're a republic.
Exactly, right? It's a mediated democracy.
It'll be an opportunity for Americans to vote if they think that we've made the wrong policy decisions. I personally think the president is making the right policy decisions.
But I guess, but you just said it matters deeply what Americans think. And if the overwhelming majority are against it, in what sense does it matter? Because what I hear is it matters what they think, but it really doesn't matter what they think because...
No, you take it in, you certainly ingest that.
And then what do you do with it once you ingest it?
Then you make sure that you have... No,
you just gotta... It goes out the other end, obviously. No.
I give him credit for that segment. I appreciate that. And that's the one, that's the clip that made the rounds the most, I think.
Yeah.
But look, even if you think that, okay, we have a republic and that's how it works, we elect these people and they make the best choices for us. And maybe we don't know all the information, so we got to trust them, which is kind of where he's going with this. Like, we're more in the know, we're protecting people kind of thing.
Right.
Well, we created our republic with Congress as a check on wars.
Yep.
And we bypass all that. So it's all on like every 4 years, you can change the president if you don't like the war situation.
Right.
But since both presidents and both parties are going to be just as owned by the military industrial complex, it's kind of irrelevant. So yeah, we're bypassing the step that he claims keeps us a republic that checks on our own self-interest via our representatives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when he says America's not doing so great and we're spending all of our money for sending money to Israel, and then he's like, well, I think America is doing great. We're getting rid of all the immigrants and closing the border. I think Trump's doing great. And then he's like, no, I love Trump. I love Trump. I'm not criticizing Trump. I love what he's doing with the immigrants, right? So it's like, it's so repellent, because what it really comes down to then is he thinks, he doesn't say, so we need higher wages. We need lower rents, caps on rents. We need single family homes that aren't owned by black, like, yeah.
Time out. Stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations.
Okay. I'm just writing, we're coming back. Shit. All right. I'll send you a link. I don't know how to do this.
Hang on. I'm going to put it in the comments.
All right, but you have to exit. Right? Fuck. I think you have to end the stream.
Oh, do I have to end it? I'll end it, and then share it on Twitter to me if you can.
Okay.
Does that work?
All right. Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it fast before everybody.